David Diao, I think he was born in China, and I used to see him all the time around Tribeca. I had a studio on Lower Broadway between White and Franklin Street, and literally my studio backed up on this alley that's this incredible New York alley that they shoot, half the alley scenes in New York movies are shot in that alley. It's probably called Franklin Alley, and right over from where my studio was, I could kind of see David Diao's building. He was on Franklin Street, and he met me when I was kind of in my 20s, and he had shown in and around, I'm not sure the exact history, but I know he'd shown in and around galleries like early Paula Cooper, by Kurt Castelli. He had a very good early career that was kind of formalist abstraction of the type where color field and gesture are in an interplay with kind of large scale and materiality, things that I was very interested in the late 80s and early 90s when I was developing my own paintings. And when I started to show these paintings of my own, that I used squeegees, trowels, joint compound knives, and so forth, David wasn't alone in coming up to me and saying, young man, I did this, in the 70s. And I guess that's the story of any New York painter coming of age, that, there's always somebody who has made the painting before your painting. And then it's a way for you to say, well, actually, this is different for these reasons because I'm, reframing it in a different way or whatever, or you need to become aware of these histories. I had seen David's work on Avenue A. I lived on Avenue A, and there were these galleries along there, and the second wave of East Village galleries were these kind of postmodern theoretical galleries. And one of them was Postmasters, run by Magda Sawan and her husband. And its name suggested that it was post something. And that was the venue. David still shows at that gallery all these years later. And that was the venue that sort of reintroduced David Diao as a conceptual and biographical and historically informed abstractionist, subject matter specific, as opposed to what he had been describing to me previously, which is kind of, making formalist work. So really to show the seized attention there, he modeled it after this incredible installation shot of Malevich paintings as they were originally hung salon style. And he took these motifs from Malevich paintings, cruciforms, these kind of almost like Russian iconographic geometry / icons moved into the age of absolutist, suprematist geometry. And he re-envisioned those paintings through his own language, which had a more kind of painterly touch, as I described earlier, palette knives and so forth, but always this kind of hard-edged template of a pre-existing historical form. This was around 82, 83, 84, 85 that he was developing this work. So it was right in dialogue with what was happening with appropriation, which is the way people seize upon something that exists in the collective mind of art viewers and historians, painters, and is able to move it into the present tense through a kind of rupturing of context. The painting that David Diao had in the Janus show, the Janus gallery was in this kind of funny building that was owned by a New York trade union. So it looked sort of like an indeterminate office building. And then you get off the elevators, and again, typical of galleries of that era, the floors were carpeted. It had a nice, generous scale once you came inside, but there was kind of a central presentation wall as you get off the elevator. And on that wall was this big Diao painting that's pictured in this catalog. It's based, of course, on the large Barnett Newman painting at MoMA that we all know and love, Vir Heroicus Sublimus of 1950-51. But what Diao had done is taken a chart from Brenda Richardson's 1979 catalog, Barnett Newman, The Complete Drawings, and that showed his specific output in every year of drawings, prints, paintings. And you know, one of the things that this painting describes is how few paintings, mature paintings, Newman actually made. So he arranged that production as these kind of zips or stacks of dates. You know, this is the chronology running down the sides of the paintings, and these are the specific outputs in these given years. So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, art historical, it's appropriation at the same time. The painting was done to scale, so that it was a kind of virtual double of the original.